Welcome to What We Watch When We Drink, a Booze Dancing Entertainment Network podcast featuring lively discussions about movies, TV shows, and anything else that we're watching while we drink our favorite boozy beverages. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Audible, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can also find us on boozdancing.com, and if you have any questions, comments, show or drink suggestions, email us at boozdancing@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
We are back. We are live. Booze Dancing Entertainment Network is live. Welcome to What We Watch When We Drink, a very special episode on a Thursday night. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all for Hockey Night in Booze Dancing City. This is a very special, all across the country, all across our channels. Episode 51. We have a really special one. Well, we think it is. I don't know about you guys out there in Nerdland. Before we get to that, let's chat for a sec. How are we doing, Ange? We doing good?
We're doing okay. We're doing okay. I got a lineup of booze here. I got a bunch of little tasties here. Well, I don't know if they're tasty. I'm a little scared of a few of them, but we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see how it goes. But I'm all right. I'm excited to talk about the show.
Me too.
It's all your fault. It's all my friend Rick's fault. You guys shamed me.
Well, we're going to shame into
I got shamed.
a little bit. Hopefully, we're going to shame other people into this show. I too, with your suggestions, picked up a couple things that are kind of connected to connected to what we're watching. But I couldn't find them all, so I had to go dig into my own basket of fun and get a couple other things out.
Which is probably better than what I picked up.
I don't know. We'll see. But there are two of them. One of them is in the same family as the two of the ones you have, so that's a good thing. So why are we here tonight? Why are we here? Well, let me step back and say,
that's a very philosophical question.
I know.
Why are we here?
It's very existential. I know. That's what whiskey will do to you, right? Don't forget, I want everyone to remember, don't forget to check out all the great spirit and beer reviews at the Murder Table on boozdancing.com and Instagram and wherever you get stuff from us. There is one or two per week almost, it seems like. Ange and Mike get all kinds of stuff out there for you to see and check out and hear so you can hear what they think about all the different spirits that come our way. I want to mention that we are the unofficial podcast of record for Bro Dude energy drinks, because you go until you can't go anymore. That's it.
That's right.
And this one, just buy Bro Dude energy drinks. All right.
Would you go to the wall for me, my guy? Yeah. Would you go to the wall for me?
I would go to the wall for you. So tonight we don't do this too often. We are just doing one show. It's not a movie. It's a series. And the third season of the series just came out in the United States, maybe a month ago, I think. And this series is called Shoresy, and you can find it on Hulu, correct? Hulu, and I think if you're correct. A Canadian watcher, which I know
Crave.
It's on Crave in Canada, and we're gonna pair that tonight, that show, with various Canadian whiskeys, or
in my case, whiskeys with quotation
marks. I have a
marks.
couple of those whiskeys in quotation marks myself, and okay. Well, one's actually a question mark whiskey, one's actually a real whiskey, and then a couple other ones from my vast collection of whiskey. Okay, where do we want to start? Should we do a toast, little drinky drink, and then
let's do a toast. What are you pouring, by the way? Do we have two of the same or no?
I have the apple and the non-apple of that brand.
I'm thinking I should do non-flavored first and then go into flavored, because if I go the other way around.
Sure. So our first whiskey is, we both have minis of this, I believe, correct?
Yep, Crown Royal.
Crown Royal.
I actually have two. I have two non-flavored whiskeys. I have one is called Eddington Canadian Whiskey, which I'd never heard of that. And the other one is a Crown Royal. And then I have three more flavors. One's a Crown Royal flavor. The other two are both. I'm sorry, did I say Ellington? Ellington, yeah. Right? Like Duke. Like Duke Ellington. So yeah, and I have two flavored Ellington Reserves as they like to call it. So I'm going to go with the Crown Royal.
Me too, and I'm going with the non-flavored one that I have. Just your basic.
You know what I love? You know what's classy?
What?
Plastic bottles.
They are. I was really surprised when I picked this up. It was plastic. Plastic. Hear that? Hear that? That's plastic. It's fine Canadian plastic.
That's right. Sir, cheers.
Cheers. I don't even have something that will make a clink with that because it's plastic.
Flick it. Flick your finger.
My finger.
Flick. Like this. Flick. What was that? There you go.
I don't know. All right.
Anyway.
Cheers.
Cheers. I've had this before a few times. I think it's like kind of sweet. It's nothing crazy, but it's okay.
I'm guessing the last time I had this was on an airplane, if I had to guess.
It was probably a plastic thing.
Probably. Yeah. It's thin. I guess it's the basic, the bottom line, whatever you'd call. Maybe not. There might be something below.
It's the point of entry.
It's a point of entry for It's a point of entry for Crown Royal, and product of the Crown Royal. I don't even know much about them, so not much on this little label because it's so small you can't even read it. It is so tiny. But it's a starter whiskey, I think, of Canadian whiskeys, right? Probably one of the biggest brands in the world, I would guess.
Oh yeah,
easily, right?
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
But this is one of the. I mean, we're calling it the point of entry, but I think it's the point of entry into the Crown Royal range.
Yeah, correct.
But it's probably a step up from. It's a step up from Seagram's and Canadian Club. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a blended whiskey. Like a lot of whiskeys are in Canada. Right. Not all, but a lot. It's decent. It's nothing earth shattering, but it's a sipper. I mean, it's a session whiskey. You can drink a lot of this. You can make cocktails with it. Yep. It's not. It's what 40%, I think. So it's not abrasive at all. Light. Good. It's a good starter for our night with Shoresy, I'd say.
I think so.
Okay.
Might be a little too classy for Shoresy.
You could be right. Actually, that's a good point. Okay. So, where do we start with this? So Shoresy.
Well, give us a little bit. You are an aficionado of all things Jared Kiso, who is the creator of the show. So give us a little background. Okay. Where did Shoresy come from?
And we just talked about this on our 50th episode. We were talking about things that we've watched recently or watching. And I had mentioned that I'd watched, I think, the third season at the time.
Correct.
And I kind of gave a little synopsis. We'll give a little one again. So Jared Kiso is a Canadian actor, comedian, I guess comedic actor, I would say. Played hockey when he was a kid in the junior leagues.
Like you do in Canada?
Like you do in Canada. And then had various acting roles and then started doing a YouTube series based about like people that live on a farm in rural Ontario, Northern Ontario. And it was a YouTube little series, and it was very popular. And somehow it got picked up, and it was called Letterkenny, and it became a bit of an underground hit. And I think it just finished its 12th season on Crave and on Hulu. And Jared Kiso is one of the stars and creators and writers. And it's about a fictional town of 5,000 or so in this area of Northern Ontario. And he and his sister have a farm. And it's really about all the different people that live in the area. And there's different categories of people. There's the hockey people, hockey kids who play in like a recreational league. And then there's the farm people. And then there's the Amish folks and there's the rodeo people. There's just all these little groups of people and how they and kind of drug addict people. So there are all these different categories. So the hockey guys, there's this league, and in this league, two of the stars of the show are these two kids. They look like surfers, and they're hockey players, and they play in this league. And their teammate is this character named Shoresy. Okay, and Shoresy, and all throughout Letterkenny, the X number of seasons that character's on, you never see his face. You only hear him, and he is a very rough and tumble kind of hockey player, but talented, and he is very great at insults. That's his key. That's his thing. He insults players on his team, insults other players, and he does this viciously and X-ratedly, if that's a term, usually about their a person's mother. And we can't get too detailed here, but it's pretty vicious and very funny and rapid fire. And
yes, it is.
This show, Shoresy gets his own show, which is he leaves the show. His actually last name is Shore, but in hockey, guys get nicknames usually by adding an S or a Y on the end. And Shore becomes Shoresy, and Shoresy actually gets his own show by going to Sudbury, Ontario, into a different league. Now, here's a little spoiler.
The no show.
The no show. We'll come back to the spoilers that I have for you later on. And so he goes to Sudbury, Ontario, and joins the Sudbury Bulldogs, and in the Northern Ontario Senior Hockey Organization. No show. And then the team he goes to has not won a game, and they've lost 20 in a row, and he's sick of it. And the owner of the team, whose mother owned the team first, now she owns the team, it's a woman named Nat, and she is sick of it. And she's going to shut the team down. She's tired of it. And then Shoresy says, nope, don't do that. I can turn this team around. I'm going to make it. I don't want to lose any more games. I hate losing. So I'm going to bring in friends, and we're going to change the whole makeup of this team. And that is the start of season 1 of Shoresy, and we're on season 3. There are only like 6 or 8 episodes per season, and
six.
Is it 6 even in season 3 also? Okay, thank you. So there's
Six,
only
six,
18
six.
episodes.
666.
And they're maybe 20, 25 minutes long. They're very short, easy to watch, and they're very funny. So the Letterkenny is about this community. Shoresy is about this team and how this team kind of comes together to become a better team. And there'll be spoiler alerts. It doesn't matter. This team gets good, and they run off a good streak of wins, and the team just comes together. And he's funny. It's funny. It's X-rated. It's heartwarming. It's all of those things, and it's based around hockey.
The language is X-rated.
The language is X-rated.
The language is X-rated.
Yes, but the show is. I saw a few things online that heart isn't really the right term for it, but it has heart. And I remember saying that
no, it has.
It does,
heart.
But it's more than that, and it's really because the team and Shoresy himself, they care. He cares about winning and not losing, and it really is a beautiful story amongst all the craziness that goes around it. Angie, I've been talking about it for a couple of years, and you dove in. Give me your initial thoughts.
Well, okay. First, I tried to watch it before, and I like to think of it as like the show has like its own frequency.
Yes.
And I just I wasn't tuned into the right band because I couldn't figure it out at first. I didn't quite understand what was going on because you got to get the lingo to a degree. It's got its own slang. It's like watching The Wire. You remember when you first watched The Wire? It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, I would say two things. Yes, the language is completely different, but it's different. It's not your normal sitcom. It's not filmed like a normal sitcom at all. There's no laugh track, of course. And the dialogue is like you're on speed. It is so fast. It's furious. Sharp cuts, scenes that you think are going to go somewhere, or kind of just the ending of a scene just kind of segues to another scene in a weirdly connected way. They're almost nothing to do, but the language connects them. It is not like regular sitcom stuff, even cable.
No, it was definitely an adjustment. It took me a second. I didn't know what they were talking about, but once you figure it out, and once you're in tune, it's really good and it's really addictive. And I went through all 3 seasons last week, and in preparation for this, I actually watched it again. And I got to say, I picked up more the second
Yeah.
time.
I've done.
So there's like, what's nice is they'll say something, and you really got to pay attention because then maybe a couple episodes later, you'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
like the whole thing with Sanguinette and Michael's
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend
Yes.
and the squeezer at the
Yes.
lake. Like, what's a squeezer?
Yes.
Well, you figure out what a squeezer is, and you learn what an aquadump
I
is.
ha-
Quite literally.
I have to admit, it wasn't as jolting to me
Huh?
after watching Letterkenny because it's
Well, after watching
it's
Letterkenny,
very
right.
it's very similar.
Right.
So the dialogue wasn't jolting, I guess is really true.
Not so much jolting, but it's like you said, the speed of it all.
It's very different.
You have to. I compared it to like Marx Brothers.
Yeah.
Just how like it's just fire, just constantly, like a machine gun.
Language wise, but not action wise.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just talking about the
Yeah.
language. I'm not even talking about the action.
Correct.
The action's easy, and that's you could follow that. It's just what the hell are they talking about sometimes?
Yes.
You know, it took a little while, and I watched it twice, and I pick up a lot more the second time around.
Yep, I agree, and I'm on like a third round of the first season and I was watching a couple episodes last night, and I'm picking up things too that I don't remember from the first time too.
Yeah.
So there's a whole
another show.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Another show that was like that, where you had to kind of just get used to it. And I guess it's any really British show, but like Succession was the same way. Like the first 2-3 episodes, I'm like, what is going on? Then when you go back and watch it again, it's like, oh, you have to get into.
I read a review today online, and it compared the dialogue to Succession.
Yes.
Yeah. It is.
It's as filthy, but to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, it has its own style of language that is not like other shows. Yes. It's not. I'm sure people in Canada don't talk like this, right? It's got its own way.
I don't know. I've been to Canada in a while.
It's very unique, and it really is an eye opener in a lot of ways. And the way it's cut and the way it's edited, it's really brilliant. It really is. And there's a lot of insulting going on back and forth between characters, and somehow or other they work in a story and all that too per episode. And there's an arc to every season, to the 3 seasons, and a larger arc that's going on as well.
Right, because we're through part 1.
Yeah, the ending of the 3rd season ends with that's part 1. So I believe I read that. So Letterkenny ended last year after 12 seasons, and there you go. Ms. McGinnis.
Everyone's favorite Canadian.
Yes. To be fair, which is a Letterkenny line, like Pitter Patter. Jared
Pitter Patter Panini.
Panini, that's right. He signed up with Crave for a longer term deal that I believe ended Letterkenny, but it continues Shoresy, and I think he's going to have some creative development options to do some other stuff. He's really talented. We could talk about the cast a little bit.
You think?
Apparently, I should have brought this up. He's won some Canadian acting awards. He was in
I believe
he
it.
was who was that? He played 2 seasons. Oh, was it 2 movies? Give me one sec. I'll look it up. He was on a detective show, and he won. I think, yeah, in Canada, and we would never see that here, right? But he won. I think he won the equivalent of an Emmy, I believe, and he did. I think it's done a fair amount of shows that are hockey related.
Is this 19-2? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 19-2. And he also did, which he won an award as he won a Canadian Screen Award playing Don Cherry in two different films about Don Cherry. Don Cherry is a famous hockey coach, NHL coach in Canada, and he was really famous for being on a show, a weekly show, as a talking head called Hockey Night in Canada. And he's probably in his 80s now. He kind of got in trouble a few years ago, so they took him off the air. But he's iconic in Canada, and Jared Keeso played him apparently twice. So he's got some chops, and not those are not comedy chops. Those are dramatic chops. I'm guessing in those roles. And then he comes to this crazy idea and starts working on YouTube and comes up with these crazy characters for Letterkenny and then ultimately for Shoresy. So let me. There's an indigenous Canadian element to this. There's in Letterkenny. There's many indigenous characters, and in Shoresy there's indigenous characters who there's Sanguinet, who's the coach of the team of this adult hockey league team. There's also the owner of the team, Nat, is Native Canadian, as well as her two what would you call them? Girl Fridays, assistants. I don't know what you call them.
Assistants.
Yep. So
yeah, sure.
In Letterkenny, here's the real connection. In Letterkenny, as we said, Shoresy is on a adult hockey league team and called the Letterkenny Irish, and I believe Letterkenny is a town in Ireland too, and it is owned by a indigenous woman named Tanis, who at some point dates Jared Keeso's character in that show. And she does her cousin a favor, and on that team is Shoresy. And she does her cousin a favor and sends off Shoresy to this team, which is the Blueberry Bulldogs. So her cousin is Nat. So Nat and Tanis are cousins. Now Tanis is kind of a famous actress, and Tanis is her name is really difficult to pronounce because she's got a Native Canadian name, a tribal name. Kahilo. Give me one sec. She was also most famously, probably in this country, she was in.
She's a Deer Lady.
She's Deer Lady in. Reservation Dogs, right? Her name is Kanahitilo Horn, and so she is the producer of Shoresy. So there's this very interesting connection between the two shows, and that's how Shoresy gets to Sudbury. Where do you want to start on the cast? It's just so great.
Well, you've talked about Keeso, and I mean, he's just
let me
just insane.
Drop back one sec. So in Letterkenny, I forgot to mention this. In Letterkenny, we never see his face. The character Shoresy, right? He's just, you see him from the back. You hear him in the bathroom. He wears a face mask that is a visor that is almost black, which I've never seen anyone wear a black visor in hockey. You can never see his face, and he's got a kind of a high pitched, annoying voice. Yeah. What you don't
I can't even do it.
What you don't realize is until Shoresy starts, it is Jared Keeso. Jared Keeso is that character. At least he's the voice of that character. I'm not sure if he's skating around, but and most of what when you do see him, he's on the ice in Letterkenny. So we're all kind of surprised when Shoresy starts. It's holy crap! It's the guy from Letterkenny. That's him. He's playing two characters on the same show. So that's kind of the strange thing, right? So he himself is almost pushing 40, probably character, late 30s or something, past his prime a bit, but loves hockey. It's his life. He's a lifer. And I think he's teaching in a hockey school. So he's reffing in a hockey school, and
it's the only place he gets to be himself.
That's right. And he's just happy to be at this kind of level of hockey, which is a very small league. I think there's only 4 teams in the league. And he's got his aims on a journalist in town who he wants, Laura Moore, I think her name is. And
yes, it is Laura Moore.
And so he's got some.
He doesn't date girls. He dates women.
That's right. He dates women. And he is kind of thrust into the role to some extent to be the leader of this team. And he has to assemble by his own choice, or the team's going to fold, a team that's going to win. And he brings some friends in from all parts of Canada and Quebec and Newfoundland, and I'm not sure where a couple of the guys are from, who have some kind of hockey talent. Not much, but some. Actually,
Not active players.
not active players. But this is
because, as he said, anybody that's good is already on a team.
That's right, and it's only 4 games left in the season, and so he brings these 4 guys in, and they all have varying abilities, but they're all probably much better than the guys they have. And he goes into a prison nearby, and also gets 3 more players, all named Jim, and Jim. And
may I say,
yes, go ahead.
The Jims are beauties.
Jims are beauties. Jims are beauties. 2 of the Jims.
So wait, but Nat recruited the Jims.
Oh, is it Nat?
Right?
You're right. Nat did.
Well, she saw them fighting in the back of the bar. I didn't make that connection until the second time around.
That's right. And then she sends everybody to go kind of interview them and figure out who they are.
Recruit. Right.
2 of those guys, I'm wearing my LA Kings hat here. 2 of those players, the last Jim and the middle Jim, are actually brothers. The Nolan brothers. Jordan, the last Jim, played was a LA King during the 2 championship years about 10 years ago. And their dad,
really?
And they're both native Canadians. And their dad is a long time, Ted Nolan, long time NHL coach. Coached them.
Huh.
Yeah. So there's a hockey thread throughout this whole series beyond just the stuff on ice.
Well, and I will say, I'm not a hockey person, but this show almost made me want to watch hockey.
One beautiful thing about this show, and if you're a sports fan, a real sports fan, like a heavy duty sports fan, you hate generally all TV shows, movies that are sports related, because what you see on screen is nothing like what you see at a real game, right? It's all put together by actors, and they usually can't do the same things as a regular athlete. And the game sequences are, they feel not right. The crowd scenes are bad. It just doesn't feel right. This, I can tell you, is very, very accurate. And looking online, I'm not crazy. One of the big positives about the show is that they get the hockey part really down. The hockey playing is just well shot, well skated, well acted. It's just great. And the crowd scenes, I think it's all filmed at the Sudbury Communities Hockey Center. So it's a real hockey arena, and they've got real fans there. It's really done well. And the locker room sequences, my daughter played hockey for a few years, and I can see that row of lockers and the row of benches and tape being thrown and guys, getting their clothes off and lacing up. It is, and the way things are put up for the guys on hangers, it's very, very accurate.
Hey, question
Yes,
for you.
sir.
When your daughter played hockey, did they have a game stick? And was there a post-game game stick winner?
I don't know that. There were some dessert. There were desserts, yes, but I don't remember if they were.
And it took me a while to figure out why they called them sticks. I didn't realize they were drumsticks.
They were drumsticks, yes.
Like duh.
Yes.
I felt so dumb.
And
so dumb.
So dumb.
So dumb.
And there's so many little things like that are so well done. My guess is that they've come from Jared Keese's background playing hockey in his career.
Uh-huh.
And these are things that he's picked up. I'm sure he's friends with a lot of hockey players now. And by the way, I watched an episode from one of the seasons of Letterkenny, and it's in a bar, and it's the bartender and 2 bartenders talking to 2 patrons, and it's all about cheese and what kind of cheese they can order. And all of the cheeses that they run through are based on hockey players' names, real hockey players. They're all funny. Puns on hockey players' names. It is so funny. And by the way, one of the hockey teams that's in Letterkenny is called the Regretskis, by the way.
Regretskis. Hey, by the way, should we move on to a second
Sure,
whiskey?
sure, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Because I'm a little parched,
I'm a little parched myself. We can do the
and if I can't have a game stick, we're gonna have a game
we can
whiskey.
do the apple one. Good idea.
Yeah, let's do the apple. Let's do the apple. I'm gonna skip. Or should I do? Wait, do you have something? Do another non-flavored. Do you have another non-flavored?
Yes, I do. Hold on one sec.
Let's let because I want to do this other one. I want to do this Ellington Canadian whiskey.
Uh,
I don't. I suspect it's not very good, but we'll see.
I am pouring from our friend Mr. Mitten from Toronto.
Ah,
Dave
Dave,
Mitten.
big Dave.
Weiser's 18.
Oh, smooth,
Yeah,
smooth.
that's a
Literally,
great whiskey.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
It's a sipper.
it's a sipper. Would you and what
All
and
right, I'm
would you
going
and
for
would
this
you pour?
Ellington. I don't know some Ellington Canadian whiskey. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like a private label thing or who knows what.
Oh, it might be. I got the Total Wine, so it could be. It smells all right. The you know what? The Crown Royal wasn't bad. The Crown
No,
Royal was actually
that's
decent.
fine.
It's good. If I'm on like again going back to you're on a plane,
Yeah,
you're in the
airport
you're
bar,
in the you're in the American lounge, and that's all they have.
and usually at the American Lounge they have some crappy whiskeys, so it would definitely be an option for like an old fashioned or something.
The Chase Sapphire Card Lounge.
There you go.
Which I'm not a member, but
I've heard of
if
it.
they would like to sponsor us,
Hmm.
I have this. I got to get the
That Delta.
the
That
Sapphire
Delta.
Card.
Who's that? That Delta United, or it
I
doesn't
have
matter.
no idea. No idea.
That's pretty good. I like the 18. I like the Weisers.
It's all right.
Yeah. Oh, you're
It's
Ellington?
not bad.
Is it?
I can't. Yeah, it's not. It's okay. It's not offensive. I could see mixing it, maybe or just drinking it like this is fine.
Yeah.
I've had worse.
Yeah.
I've had worse. It's okay. I'm not going to go into extensive tasting notes
No,
because
no.
it's not that kind of show.
And we've
this time.
talked about the 18 before, and it's just a really great whiskey, and it's 18 years old, and it's pretty.
That's right.
And it's a great value whiskey
That's right.
too. It's not expensive.
In certain parts of the world, it's old enough to drink itself.
That's right. Correct. There's one thing I want to mention. The music in the show is really great.
Oh my god,
the music is so freaking
So
good.
good.
And it's
so good.
and there are parts of the show that are almost like a music video. Like,
May I?
go ahead.
The music is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It's
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, Aaron,
Yeah.
Aaron, settle down.
Settle down.
Settle down.
Settle down. Settle down, boys.
But yes, I was shazamming the whole time,
Yeah. And
and I don't know any of this music.
no, it's all Canadian stuff, and there's a lot of native Canadian bands that they use, and that's true, I believe, in Letterkenny too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a real emphasis here on the show artistically, from the way it's shot to the music that they put together with it, to the casting of native Canadians. It's great. I mean, I know we're in this whole like resurgence in this country too, indigenous like reservation dogs we talked about, and Lily Gladstone's in all kinds of stuff these days, right?
Oscar
nominated. Emmy nominated now too.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yep.
Now she's in the other show,
Yeah,
Under the Bridge.
All the folks on Reservation Dogs. So Kiso and company are that way as well in for Canadian folks, and it's great. It's wonderful seeing all these different faces and all this different music. The music is it's just great. I'm sure you can find it all online too, what they are. It doesn't. I had written some notes here. It's a really smart show. I think maybe you thought this when I was trying to explain it the first time. It's just a dumb hockey show, right? And it's just a bunch of dumb people playing hockey. And there have been many dumb hockey series.
Oh, so dumb.
So dumb. So dumb.
So dumb.
So dumb.
So dumb.
Holy. And for those at home, that is from the show. But this really,
I think that
it's a really intelligent show with characters who don't necessarily appear intelligent, maybe. Maybe that's the way to look at it. But it's very women oriented. The women are all in power in this show. There's a woman running a team. Her two people behind her are women. There's a TV broadcast.
The three women are, and then you got the three women that run the league.
Yes, correct. Run the league. You've got Bro Dude Sports, which is a fictional energy drink, and in Letterkenny, it's owned by women, and it's run by women. And in Shoresy, that brand is sponsor of a pregame show. During the games are actually televised, and the host is a woman. And then we have a journalist woman. It is equally weighted women and men on this show, which is really great to see too. And they all have their own reasons for doing what they do. And it's just so, I don't know. It's touching on so many levels, I think. So there's all kinds of movies and TV shows about hockey, sports. This has got to be for me, it's one of the top shows. It's up there with Slapshot, right? Slapshot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In terms of hockey, or just in terms of
depth and heart, I think.
Yes.
And it's just, now you've got 2023, 24 filmmaking ability versus 1970s ability for
right.
Slapshot. Right. It's just it's really good, and the hockey part is really good. And as we get farther along in the show, it's about a man's journey and coming towards the end of the road of his career and trying to understand that and what that means, and not really think.
Well, on a couple of occasions, they ask him, "Did you ever think what you're going to do when you're not playing hockey?" He's like, "No. That's all I want to do."
Which is a lot of people about their own lives and about their
absolutely
their athletes, or they're just regular folks. We're just seeing what we're doing at the moment. Let's see, what else did I have here that I want to talk about? Well, we can talk about the cast so we ran down the list of them a lot. So we have Tessa Tellis is Nat, right? She's beautiful. She's headstrong. She runs this team, and all she wants to do is put butts in the seats. She wants bums in the seats. Bums in the seats.
Bums in the seats.
The place is empty because they're losing. And and hockey's important to her because it's important to her family. She grew up watching hockey, and she wants the same thing for the kids out there. She wants the team, the players, to give back to the community. She's really, and that's a very hockey-oriented attitude. Players are not just divas who go off and do their own thing. They really do try to give back to the community via their team or charity, etc. So then we have Sanguinette. So Sanguinette is played by Harlan Blaine. I cannot say his last name. Kitwa Hat.
Kitwa Hat. Kitwa Hat.
He's actually on the team when the show starts, but he's not playing. He's Correct. A healthy scratch, and a scratch in hockey means you're just not playing by coach's decision. So he's a bench warmer, but he doesn't even suit up, and he's thrust into the position kind of from the coach is fired, and by Nat because they've lost 20 Mark Michaels, and Shoresy takes over, or is kind of takes the reins of the team and kind of just pushes Sanguinette into the role, and he kind of finds his place, right? He's kind of good. This is kind of his thing. He doesn't even know it, but this is what I was for, and he's a great young actor. I didn't look him up, but he's a really great young actor. Let's talk about those 3 or 4 guys that.
All right, so let me run down the list here. So we've discussed the gyms. There's gym number 1, gym number 2, gym number 3, aka the gyms. And then you've got well, there's Fish.
Yeah,
who was scoring a goal a game, but then he wasn't.
Yeah, he's kind of on the he's on the outside looking in.
He's on the cusp.
He's on the cusp of the core group.
Correct.
And at the end,
then you
kind of feel like he's ready to just break out and be a star, a real young star.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, he's coming around. He's definitely coming around. Then you've got Ted Hitchcock, who's the Newfoundlander.
Yes.
Newfoundland. How do you say it? Newfoundlander?
Newfoundlander? Yeah. I think a Newfoundlander.
And just remember, you don't outwork a Newfie.
No
one outworks a Newfie.
And you know what he likes to drink?
You don't outwork
He likes
to
drink
Martinis.
Martinis, yes.
Martinis.
And because he's from Newfoundland, you can't completely understand everything he says, so there are subtitles for him at times. Captions.
No, he's not too bad. He's not too bad though. He's not too bad. He's like a mishmash of like Irish, Scotch, and New England all mixed up into one.
And he's like he's a little bit grizzled. He is, as these other folks are all together, they are a veteran presence.
What? Oh, the veteran.
They are a veteran presence to this young team. It's very crucial. That's another hockey or sports cliche.
And if you say Ted Hitchcock's name really fast,
it sounds like Ted Hitchcock.
That's right.
Who else we got?
Okay, the other guy they brought in, Brant Goody Goodleaf.
Yep.
Everything's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
That's right.
Unbelievable. And he's obsessed with chicken.
Settle down.
He's a big chicken eater. He loves chicken.
Settle down. He's played by Andrew Anson, and this is his first role as an actor, interestingly.
I can kind of see that.
Yep.
He did the job, but he was good. Yep. Then we've got Dolo.
Yes.
Who is a rapper.
Jonathan Ishmael Diaby.
From where's he from again? He's from he's from Quebec.
Right.
He's also a Quebecois.
He's Quebecois. He actually was he actually had a minor league career. He signed a contract with he had a 3-year contract with, I want to say, the Carolina Hurricane. I don't think he ever got to the show. And I mean the NHL. Okay. So he's actually a real player.
Well, the Ted Hitchcock guy was played by Terry Ryan. He actually played in the NHL, I believe.
That's right. He did too. Yeah.
So
yes.
And then so we got Goody, we've got Ted Hitchcock, we got Dolo, and then of course everyone's favorite, Jean-Jacques Frankie Jacques Jean, aka JJ Frankie JJ.
Correct. Played by Max Bouffard, who is actually in Letterkenny as well, and he actually has a negative relationship with Shoresy in Letterkenny, and it's funny to see them on the same team in Letterkenny. But he's recruited, and he has an interesting background because in Shoresy, because he's a ladies' man.
The pride of Quebec.
He
is the pride of Quebec,
and he's a big burly guy, bald head, huge big red beard, and he has a lot of girlfriends, a lot of beautiful girlfriends.
They say you look like Yukon Cornelius. I think that was in one of the the Santa Claus movies.
I think yeah. He actually speaks more English in Letterkenny, but he basically speaks French and speaks very little in Shoresy. And what he does speak, it's actually in we see it's captioned. So JJ, Frankie, JJ, Jacques Jean, Francois, Jean-Jacques. Yes. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oui. Let's see. They got those guys. Oh, and we got mentioned the pair of ladies who are Nat's assistants.
Yes, you mentioned them before, but they are Ziguan and Miguan.
Yeah, Blair Lamora
so Zig and
is Ziguan, and Kalani Elizabeth Rose is Miguan. One of them is a kind of somewhat famous DJ in Canada. That she has a music career. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. And then we got Jordan Nolan. I think that's about all the main folks. And Ryan McDonald plays Michaels, who the original coach of the Bulldogs is fired. but then comes back to be the goalie. He comes back and because he's a good goalie, he's a better goalie than he's a coach, and right.
Correct.
And we had Camille Sullivan as Laura Moore, the affection, Shoresy's affection. She's a journalist in town, and then there's just a few other side folks. One thing that happened, I think it's in every season. They moved back to the Bro Dude pregame show hosted by Anik. I can't remember her last name. She's a Quebecois.
Anik Archambault.
Yeah, she's also from Letterkenny as well, and she is Quebecois, and she played by Kim Cloutier, and she hosts this show, Talking Hockey, and the three talking heads on the show are real folks as well. Tessa Bonhomme works for TSN in Toronto, and she I think was an Olympic on the women's Olympic team in Canada, and also Brian McDonald. He plays RA, and he's from Spit and Chicklets, the podcast, which is a pretty big hockey podcast here in the States, and also I can't remember his name, Jay Onrait. And Jay Onrait is on TSN also as a talking head on their version of Sports Center, and he's the goofy guy on the left of the and he doesn't get a word in, and
one who gets cut off all the time.
And right. But when he actually came to the States was on FS1 for a few years with.
So he's like me, the goofy guy on
correct.
The left.
You're the goofy guy on the left, right? So yeah, Jay Onrait.
Holy. For what?
For what? So the show is full of. Oh, maybe we should talk a little bit of. I was going to say some numbers on the show. I guess I don't really have numbers on it. Third season originally came out in 2022. We're into the third year, 2024, and I should mention that this kind of seems obvious, but if anyone's curious what number Shoresy's uniform is, it's 69, of course. Of course. And I think I have some other stuff I want to mention too here. I can't find it.
You can't really go into like favorite lines or anything
no,
like that because we'd be here
well,
all
we're
night.
going to try a little of that, but let's see here. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, so Tanis, the deer lady, she gets that team together again, and her team in Letterkenny, and then she does her cousin a favor and sends that Shoresy off to the next her cousin's league, which is a huge step up for him. And we find more about him in Shoresy. We find out about his background. We don't know anything about him in Letterkenny because you don't see his face, but you actually get to meet his family in Shoresy. And his family, you would not expect this. He comes from the multicultural families. He's got an Asian sister, a black brother, and I think he grew up in an orphanage or something. I can't remember that part. But he's and they're a very loving family, and he has to talk to them at the end about, should I continue this career or not, as he's getting closer to the end, which we don't know if he's going to continue or not. The series, each season is based on, first seasons is all about them kind of turning things around after going 0-20 and then picking things up.
Correct.
And because there's only 4 teams in the league, everyone makes the playoffs, and they have an amazing run in the playoffs. Correct? Right?
Oui.
And that's the second season is the tournament, as I recall, right? Second season is the tournament.
Second season. Second season is the 24 game run.
The 24 game run, right? And then the third is like for the championship. And then the third season is correct. An international quote unquote international tournament where they bring in.
Well, the third season opens up with the playoffs from season 2, right? and then
the
the All Canada
All
tournament.
Canada tournament, which is play teams coming from all like 5 teams from other various parts of Canada, and
Prince Edward Island, the nicest guys in
that's
hockey.
right. And each of those teams have their own interesting characters, which they touch on briefly, and some of it's very Canadian, right? It's like if we had the same thing here, and you put a basketball tournament together, and you had teams from the South and teams from the Northwest and teams from Texas and teams from California. You have all these cliches, and they do the same thing as well with these teams coming from all over. Like the guys from Saskatchewan or Alberta are a bunch of rodeo guys who are dumb lugheads, and they can't put 2 words together. And the guys from where were those from? The
Freezer Twins?
No, were the guys from Newfoundland? Not Newfoundland. They're from where are those guys from? The seafood guys.
Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island. PI. They're all very nice and polite and have funny accents. And no offense, Joanne. And they so all these teams have their own cliches about them, and they're great.
You've got the Italian team,
and there's an Italian team because there's a lot of Italian Canadians.
By the way, Italians, they're fast. Is that racist?
I don't know. Is that racist?
I don't know. Is that racist? I just love her questioning every little thing.
Every little thing.
Like, what would he say? Wait, what was the one thing he said there? When Shoresy was trying to, hook up with a reporter, and he's flirting with her. He goes, there's a little chink in your armor. He's like, I can't write that. Is that racist?
It definitely, as Letterkenny as well, it definitely crosses some lines, touches some lines. And we do you have a list of
takes a whiz on the line, spits on the line, steps on the line.
Yes.
The whole bit.
I don't remember if this is so much in Letterkenny. It's definitely in
you know what it does? You know what it does? It aqua dumps on the line.
Well, you read my mind. So Shoresy is famous, at least in Letterkenny, and a little bit in Shoresy, where before games he has to use the bathroom for number 2. Before the game, between periods he has to go to the bathroom in number 2 between periods. So we don't ever
or vomit
and you don't see him again. You don't see his face in Letterkenny. So you just hear him with his bodily noises, and then yelling and screaming about whatever's going on in the game, and making and being insulting mothers of the players he's playing with. It is so funny. Well,
what's great too? Every time he's reffing the high school team, and he's just going back and forth with those 2 kids about their mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Priceless.
So I hate to keep going backwards, but in Letterkenny he does the same as a ref, and again you don't see his face, and he's just hanging on the side of on the boards, and these 2 characters who are regular characters in Letterkenny are just taking it punch by punch by punch from verbally from Shoresy, and of course it always ends with "F you, Shoresy, F you," whatever, and then 3 more insults, and "F you, Shoresy, F you."
Can I? I'm gonna just read it as is.
Really?
Language be damned.
Language be damned.
There's one. I'm on the Reddit board, the Shoresy Reddit board, and it's all like, "What's your favorite Shoresy chirp?" And this is one. What's he say? Well, you know what? You know what's fucked, core? The amount of times your mom's faked a jellyfish sting to get me to piss on her.
Hey, bud, you look like a bag of. Hey, bud, you look like a bag of milk that's been left out in the sun for too long. Your mom's so sweet she can make sugar taste like lemons. Gosh, there's so many of them.
It just never ends.
Yeah, I don't know where you want to start. There's too many of them. Yeah. You're so slow you could get lapped by a sloth on a coffee break. She's so pretty she can make a rose blush. I bet you couldn't find your way out of a paper bag with a map and a flashlight. It's funny because it's like the old school, like Gabe Cotter. What was that called? The Dirty Dozens.
Welcome back, Kotter?
Yeah, where you're
Okay.
just making fun of, on the streets, you're making fun of everyone's mom. Not my mother.
Here's one. Well, wait, here we go. Well, I hate to be the one to tell you, but did you know the Pride of Quebec can hammer a Quatre Ving pack of mini chocolate bars in one episode of Cold Water Cowboys? Now I want to know what the hell's Cold Water
Yes.
Cowboys?
So there's a lot of references that us dumb Americans don't get at all, right?
Actually, you know what was great? When they're recruiting the gyms in the prison yard, and what's his name? The Newfoundlander is saying something they could do like Jim,
Yep.
and he just goes on a whole rant about
Jim,
Broadway.
yes, it was so funny. Yes.
And he said something like, and one of the things was I think was from like Rent. One of those songs was it 525,700 minutes or something. And I was like, it took me a second, but when I read it, it was like, oh my god, it was killing me.
One of the things about the show, which is true in Letterkenny too, is that there's always these thread lines that go through, right? There's these ongoing jokes that just keep coming up, no matter what the episode is, and or references. And you mentioned it to me a couple days ago about the Asian food.
Oh yeah, the whole time.
Go ahead.
The whole time. Next time, let me meet you up at the what's it called? We'll get a bibimbap, or maybe we'll talk over a nice miso ramen, or how about some dim sum?
It's so funny. It's just so random, and it's not pizza. It's not pizza. It's all these different Asian,
which makes me want to go to Sudbury.
Yeah. Yes.
Looks like the food will be good. We'll do like the Asian food tour of Sudbury.
Yes.
So
this, if you're not, it's a really cultish show. It's very popular, but it's very cultish. And if like but many shows, it becomes so cultish that it's got its own fan base and Reddit paid boards and fan clubs and all. And
it's all your fault.
And there is also like a whole store where you can buy Letterkenny and Shoresy product. You can buy Bulldogs jerseys. You can buy Bulldogs hats. I actually own a sweatshirt that says "Set the tone," because you have to set the tone, and setting the tone is very important. Yes, go ahead.
Actually, it was great too when they changed the name to the Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs, and everybody's just mocking them about the animal and fruit reference.
Yes, when they come back and they're trying to restart this team after their 0-20 start, Nat decides that she needs some. She has to pay for these players she's importing, and she gets a new sponsor, and that sponsor is apparently blueberries are a big deal in Sudbury, and so she gets some blueberry company to sponsor the team, but you have to change the name of the team and change the colors of the team. In the beginning, they're brown, right? New whiskey.
New whiskey. Yeah. I think it's new whiskey time. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna have some.
What do you think? I like the blue. The blue and the brown's a nice combo.
The blue and brown's nice. Yeah. So now they're, and of course they're made fun of because they're the blueberry Sudbury or Blood Sudbury Blueberry.
Well, of course, and they got to say blueberry, but they got a new gym out of the deal, and they got some money.
Yes, it was a good deal for them all, and then by the end, nobody cares.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. By the way, I'm not going to sully my beautiful Glencairn glass with this apple Crown Royal. I'm drinking right from the bottom.
Well, I'm stepping up a little bit. I'm just.
You're not doing the apple?
Oh, we did. Oh, yeah, I'll do the apple,
man.
I'll do the apple.
All right, let's do the apple. When I get to my other, God knows what this stuff is, you can switch.
Yes, I'll do the apple. I want to have some of this other thing that I have that one.
Give your balls a tug. Just have the apple.
Give your balls a tug. Yes, there is a
big sexy.
There is a lot of ongoing dialogue language that just is. There are thread lines throughout the show, and they become part of you. They all become part of you if you watch the show 16 times, like we have.
Jesus.
Right?
Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
It's bad.
It's
bad.
But,
it's bad.
But good.
It's bad.
But good.
Oh, it's good. It's good, but it's bad. It's good, but it's bad.
No, it's good. I think it's such a good show, and at first I felt like, even with Letterkenny, I thought I shouldn't like this, but I really do. And then I understood that there was more to it than just this.
Well, you go to services. You're a man of faith.
Right.
You're okay.
So yeah,
talk to your rabbi. You'll be
right.
fine. I talk to you. You talk to your rabbi. I'll talk to you.
It just really is much deeper, of course, than on the face of it, and it it's just a really good comedy, right?
And just don't forget though, winning doesn't matter if you don't have someone to share it with,
That's true. And so,
right?
and the what's funny about the hockey cliches, and there's a lot of hockey cliches, a lot of sports cliches for in language.
Sports and cliches go hand in hand, right?
They do, and uh, they're cliches for a reason. They're true for a reason. They're used endlessly for a reason. When Shoresy actually in season 3 does some of the between period interviews, between period before game interviews, he is spitting out jargon and cliches, but they're all really true. They really are real things. The problem is that the same words are used by everybody. No one has come up with a different way to say giving 110%. Everyone says giving 100%.
But here's the thing, though.
Trying really hard.
I don't know. You've been in meetings with people, whatever. Everybody, it's not just sports, and everybody takes the same thing and they just change it up. I've been to more business meetings, not business, but meetings at work where they just, everyone's talking tech speak. Oh, well, I don't have the bandwidth for that.
Yes.
Let's take this conversation offline.
Yes.
It's like, really, can you speak like a normal human being, please?
Well, and the normal way guys speak and women in sports is in cliches a lot, right? And in jargon that is for that individual industry, whatever it is. Hockey has its own jargon, and minor league hockey has a different jargon than major league hockey.
All right.
So,
by the way, I'm going in here.
I am too, and I was actually surprised.
So,
this is the Apple Crown Royal.
Yes.
So is this actually? Is it 40%? It's 35%, right? So it's not.
Yes.
Whiskey. It's flavored whiskey.
Yeah. No, Mike and I reviewed this a while back, and I remember it being like, basically a Jolly Rancher.
It's a Jolly Rancher. Yep. And it's Jolly Rancher with with way less Jolly Rancher whiskey with way less oomph than I would have expected, even at 35%. I thought that would have a little bit of kick to it. There's almost none.
A little bit of a kick. Well, 35%. So, I guess it's sugar, syrup.
It's pretty much.
They probably take the base. Yeah, they take what?
It's the regular. I'm sure it's the regular Crown Royal. And then they probably add they knock it down with water, and then they add some sugar. It'd be interesting over ice cream. It might be interesting, right? Or maybe. Over something like that, something cold. I would use it. You know what I would use this for? I would actually be interested to use this as the sugar for an old fashioned. Instead of using sugar, I would use that. Maybe. Like maple syrup.
Maybe I'll save that. Maybe I'll save this for that. Because on its own, it's really not very good.
No.
Maybe it's better cold.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe if you shook it.
I don't know much about flavored.
Especially if you shook it.
I can also say I don't really know much about flavored whiskeys in terms of how to drink them. I mean, I know there's no rules, but do people drink these things straight? Are they for cocktails? Are they for?
I'm thinking they do it like what's that stuff? Fireball.
Yeah. So what?
Where they keep it in the freezer and then pour
is that
it's all icy and
is that what they do?
I don't know. I've never ordered one. I would never.
If you're out there in booze dancing world and you know how flavored whiskeys are drank, pop that in the chat. Send us an email, boozdancing.com. Go to the website. Let us know. By the way, we are what we watch when we drink. The Booze Dancing Entertainment Network. We are live tonight on a hockey Thursday night here in Booze Dancing City. Episode 51, we are talking 100% about Shoresy, Jared Keeso's hockey sitcom on Crave in Canada and on Hulu in the United States. And we are drinking Canadian whiskeys to celebrate. Angelo has gone to the dark side after I led him there, and he has watched the series like 16 times now, I believe, 17 times, and he's a fan.
17 and a
He's a
half.
fan, I think.
Hook, line,
Yeah.
sinker.
There.
I'm a big fish. I've been reeled
Yeah.
in. I'm flopping on the deck,
I
gasping for air.
I don't know what we don't know how many seasons the thing is going to go. I'm looking forward to the next one. It takes a while for them to make one of these things for whatever reason. I wish they'd make it a little bit longer. Maybe 2 more episodes per season would be great. But they've compacted these 3 seasons individually into a perfect arc. It's almost like a 7th episode may be just too much. 6 is perfect. Although I'm always wanting more. I'm always wanting more.
Well, you know what? Don't push them.
Nope.
Let them do their thing. They've got it down. It's tight. It's good. There's no boring, wasted moments. You don't never feel like it drags.
Yep.
It goes by fast. Don't just let them do their thing.
Yep.
Don't just enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I don't know where I got this article from about this, and this is a really great line. It takes about 5 minutes of listening to the English language and occasionally French dialogue, mangled and stretched, profane and filthy, to know if this series is for you. If you don't, turn it off in disgust, and instead find it riotously funny, then a frankly hilarious binge watch is in store for you. That's so true. That is so true. And adding on to that, the director, Jacob Tierney, who's actually directs and helped create Letterkenny, and actually is one of the characters. He intersperses dramatic montage sequences that capture the pains and glories of ice hockey and everyday life for Shoresy and the team in Northern Ontario's biggest city. These small touches allow for moments of reflection. In effect, they are opportunities to catch your breath and possibly avoid cardiac arrest from laughing too hard and too much. It's so true. It's really paced well. It's
Yes.
rapid fire, but then there's a pause. Now we get those pauses because of Hulu too. The
Right.
commercials, but within those segments, there are these moments where things kind of just chill down for a moment after it being this this pounding of language at you. Or right.
Yes.
I love that. This was the article I saw about Succession. Jared Kiso's dialogue is on par with HBO's Succession. If the Roy family was into hockey instead of making money, both are centered on families who don't always get along, yet share the burning desire to succeed in their respective fields. In Shoresy, Kiso shares the screen with talented pros who sling out the slurs and cuss words and innuendos with aplomb at a rapid pace that nearly defies comprehension, which I think really says it well. I never really thought about it in terms of Succession, but I definitely see that interesting comparison. It's so true.
It's more just like it's its own little world, and it's got its own little language, and it's just kind of it's got its pacing. It's just fun.
Yeah,
it's just so fun.
I was gonna give me one sec here.
Here's one. Was it Jonesy's mom or Riley's mom who left the cap on the camcorder and ugly cried after?
So Jonesy and Riley are the 2 hockey players who look like surfers from Letterkenny, and who are the bane of Shoresy's existence in Letterkenny. And is this the one? Yeah. What? Talk to me.
I don't know if it was in this episode, but it's I made your mom so wet, Trudeau had to deploy a 24-hour National Guard unit to stack sandbags around my bed.
That's so funny.
I don't remember that line, but oh my God. And then the Clearasil stuff is just great.
The what?
The
Clearasil, yeah.
Busted on the kids about their acne.
Right. Yes.
Pepperoni phase, Accutane,
yes.
all that stuff. It's just,
there's many of those. I don't. It's really tough. I've tried to explain this show to other people, and so many are just left. Maybe I don't explain it very well. It just doesn't connect with people. For a lot of people.
Well, I was telling my neighbor about it. He came over to drop something off, and I just said, I was like, oh, you got to check out the show. I'm like, oh, and by the way, women are stunning. So if that's enough motivation to get you at least give it a try.
Sure. Yeah,
That's a start.
that is a through line from Letterkenny as well, and it's also
Sudbury has an inordinate number of hot
women.
women.
And again, it's all maybe it's justifying. I'm not sure if that's right, but it really the women are in lead roles and not they're not objectified in that way. They are in control of their destiny, and which is great to see.
Right.
It's
and they don't date sluts.
They don't date. They just take them down. Right. And so that I'm sure.
Why do they call
why
do they call the hockey player? They call them sluts.
I think because they
get around.
They get around. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the cliche that I don't know if all hockey players are athletes, but these hockey players, all the women, they're called sluts because they get around, and you don't date them, you take them down. I mean, you can sleep with them, you can mess around with them, but you don't date them because they're.
But that's kind of the downfall of the Quebec women that love JJ Frankie JJ. Because they all fall in love with JJ.
This is true.
They get into all these serious relationships and they all get hurt.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Correct.
So just,
Now I have to
take JJ for what JJ
is.
is.
I'm pouring a little bit more whiskey for myself because I had to get at that apple stuff out of my. So this.
Yeah.
This is going back to our first whiskey, which is the Royal Crown, the standard Royal Crown, Crown Royal. Ooh. This is a Crown Royal single barrel. And I don't know if they're still doing this. This was a barrel pick for I want to say it was either Bevmo or Total Wine, and it's 51.5%. So this is a little bit different than your standard 40% Crown Royal that you see. It's wherever 7-Eleven or wherever you get your cheap whiskey. And I remember,
not in Jersey.
I remember hearing about this from somebody who said, you got to get this. And I was really new into the Canadian whiskey. And I was really impressed by it. It's interesting when you bump up the ABV on certain whiskeys, they really change, right? And for the better. And this one, from my knowledge of Crown Royal, this really changes things significantly. I have to send you some. It's really good.
Okay. We've had a couple. We had a couple special editions that were really good.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Boy.
Way back in the day.
Wow.
So I'm going to punish myself right now.
Why is that?
Because that's what we do. And I'm going to have this Ellington Reserve banana flavored whiskey.
Well, you are really taking the show to a whole different height.
I'm tortured. Well, heights or lows?
Lows, really. Yes. Low.
I'm setting the bar low. Yes. I don't know how low it's going to be because I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. But it is banana flavored whiskey. It is 35% alcohol by volume. So 70 proof. Does it say anything about this? No, nothing. Doesn't say anything. Tells me nothing. I have no information about Ellington, so I don't know what it is. I also have a mango to follow this up. So I figure I'll go banana first, mango later. Maybe I'll make a cocktail and I'll do both.
There you go.
A banana mango. I'll do tropical whiskey.
All
right, I'm going to go in.
I'm going to read somebody else's words. Nat, the character Nat, is only the most evident of the Kiso specialty of suggesting that women are most desirable, not just when they're physically attractive, and the whole there's an impossible amount of cute girls in Sudbury thing is actually kind of tiresome, according to this writer, but when they're tough, brave, smart, and in command of their own lives, Nat, Meg, Zig, Laura Moore, Tannis, and Letterkenny, they're tough, brave, smart, and they know what they want in business or in a sexual partner. And they're gorgeous. Very revealing moment near the end of episode 6 at the end of the final game when Nat comes up behind Shoresy, who's kneeling on the ice, and touches him on the shoulder. And he looks up at her. And on the basis of the writing and the acting, that if Nat leads, Shoresy will follow. And that's really, that's the kind of depth is in the show in creating these scenes to give power to the women that are on screen. And
yes,
right.
Oh yeah. And by the way, in addition to the music we talked about, the shots are framed really, really well.
Yeah.
Every single time. Like the locker room scene.
Beautiful. Right. And the hockey stuff too. I mean, we talked about that. But yes, the shots are framed so well. Um, you are not getting you are getting a depth of field that you don't normally see in a sitcom. You are seeing
Right.
just wonderful things on the edges and things in the foreground and in the background. Um, when I was watching Letterkenny for a long time, it was very jarring. And one of the things that's interesting, I thought this show must be on this little tiny budget because it felt like if there were these two shots and it never and sometimes it felt like the two people talking or a group of people that were like split in two, they weren't in the same, they were being filmed separately and then they were spliced together. And I think, I'm not sure why that was done. And there's a little of that in Letterkenny too. And I think it just might be in Shoresy. That might be Shoresy's thing or Jared Kiso's thing. That's how he likes to frame things, shoot things.
Well, and I also popped into my head last week while I was watching it. It felt like an early Wes Anderson movie too, just the way they framed the shot.
That's right. Yeah,
you
might
know,
be. Maybe he's a fan.
I think that somebody, like, I was watching one scene. I forget where it was. I think it was later, maybe third season, and Sanguinette's talking to the guys in the locker room, and just the way they did it, like he would speak, the camera would cut to whoever he's talking to, cut back, and it just felt like a couple scenes in Rushmore to me.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen Rushmore?
Yeah, definitely. That's it.
There was like a scene with Brian Cox and what's his name, Schwartzman, when they're like in the office, and he's trying, he's getting tossed out, and he's going back and forth with Brian Cox, and they just keep going back and forth, and they're doing like a Godfather scene. It just felt that way to me. It just had that feel.
Yeah.
And also the way the music is used, because Wes Anderson knows how to use music.
Yeah. You get the feeling that these guys are fans of people like Wes Anderson and putting this stuff together.
I mean, it's not just him, but he's got the Shoresy influence, whether it's Tarantino, whatever. These guys just know how to do it right.
They also film Sudbury really well too. The landscape outside of the four walls. They're really good about filming within the four walls, especially in the arena. You're in the concourse. Something reminded me of something we got to talk about in a second. It makes it feel very real and very pretty at the same time. It's not. It doesn't feel amateurish, and it doesn't feel fake. Yet it's done very beautifully, I think is a good way to put it.
Right.
So thinking of the concourse, there's one character we didn't talk about who's grown on me. Jory Jordan.
Yep.
Who is a kid who has his own little sports talk interview show, and for the kids, and he's a teenager of some sort. He dresses in a suit and tie, and he will interview players, and mostly he interviews Shoresy, and he is very straightforward, in your face, doesn't really expect a response, and says what's on his mind, and tells you he's in love in a sexual way with whoever, and is very insulting to whatever adult he's interviewing. And it is so funny. And he runs through cliches too, as well, for hockey cliches too. Who would have thought of that character to throw in? That is so out of the blue and so.
Yeah, I'm looking to see who plays him. I
don't remember. He's not on the list I saw. Oh wait, he might be.
Oh, here we go. McLean Fish plays Jory Jordan.
Yeah, maybe I did see that somewhere.
So what's his story? He looks like a kid.
He looks like he can't be a kid, Sano.
You know who he
cannot.
No, but you know who he looks like a little bit. For a second there, I just looked at it. He looked a little in this picture. He looks a little bit like Jack White.
He does because of his hair, a little bit. Yeah,
it's a little bit like Jack White.
Yep. I don't in my list. I don't have his name anywhere. That's funny. He didn't show up.
But it is McLean Fish.
Yeah.
Shoresy, Dark Harvest, and he's in something called All Fun and Games, whatever that is.
Look up while you're looking up while we're playing around with names here. Look up Laurence Leboeuf.
Oh, Laurence Leboeuf, JJ Frankie JJ.
Yeah, that's one of his famous girlfriends. She's an actress. She's a real Canadian actress, and she plays herself.
Oh, the actress. I'm sorry. I was looking up. I looked up Max Bouffard. Laurence Leboeuf.
Right? That's her, right?
Oui. That is.
And there's also Lysandra Nadeau, but that's somebody else who plays herself too.
Oui.
But she has a fairly.
She's an award-winning.
Yeah, she's fairly accomplished.
Yeah, Shoresy Transplant, which you were telling me about before we went on. Lucid, something called Three Pines.
Transplant, right?
Is that the one with?
Oh yeah.
3 Pines. Is that the show?
With yeah.
Alfred Molina.
Yes, Alfred Molina. Oh, that's right. I forgot she was in that. She's only in it for a small, maybe a couple episodes.
Le Beau Malaise, En toute casse, Montfoster, Apapacho,
So it's all
Street Legal.
It's all French language stuff,
Québécois.
right? But she's award winning. Québécois. She's a very good actress. She's really good in Transplant, which was a Peacock show. Okay. She plays a ER doctor, and with this, I've talked about this show before on our show. It's about a Syrian refugee doctor who comes to Canada with his sister. War-torn Syria. I think it's Syria. War-torn life, comes to Canada to try to make a new life, and gets into a program in this Toronto hospital in the ER department. And she is what's her name? Laurence Leboeuf. She's a doctor there, and she's
Laurence.
And it was so surprising to seeing her there after I'd seen her in Shoresy. What the heck? I know her. So she can play many roles too. And it's funny that an actress of her abilities and resume would come on to Shoresy to play herself. Right?
It's fun.
She's not she's playing an actress. She's playing herself. Well,
wow, she's playing opposite the Pride of Quebec.
JJ? Frankie JJ?
Really? JJ, Frankie JJ. Who were the two guys? The color commentator and the play-by-play.
Oh, yeah. I know.
The two guys that follow JJ.
Yeah. Is that...
Those guys were hysterical.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, is that Benny and
what
Remy?
Was the one team they were...
Yeah. Because I think one of those is Jacob Tierney, like the director. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Who plays a guy named Glenn in Letterkenny, who is like a minister, but he's also a closeted gay person, and he's so freaking funny. He's so great, so funny. Gosh, I don't know. We could probably go on. This could be like a 24-hour show. We could go through every episode, and we should find. It'd be really fun is to find the dialogue for each episode somewhere.
Oh my god!
What if we could find that?
It'd be great.
That would be really fun.
I'm sure it's up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jacob Tierney, and the other one is Jonathan Torrens.
Yeah.
He's Remy.
Right.
What was the one team? And they had Wilson, Belson, and Wilson.
Oh, that was so great.
And they're trying to get the names right.
It was so great. So that again, it's making fun of the cliche Canadian cliches, right? Of players' names and whether they're Italian Canadians or they're rodeo guys.
Ferrara,
yes, they're all the same. It's making fun of all those like we would do in this country, but it's the Canadian version of it. It's just so well done. I just love this show, and it's enjoyable to rewatch it as well. And it's
it was fun too. The whole thing with the team with all the Dutch players.
Oh my god!
With the 8 Apple
the Appledorns and the Van Doorzens and the long last names you can't pronounce, and
it was great.
And there's an interesting part in the last 1 or 2 episodes about where Shoresy's going to go, and in the last few episodes, Nat gets them. She's trying to put them back, make the players give back to the community, and she does. She gets them to do webinars
2
and
seminars,
one
1
webinar.
webinar.
Webisode?
What? What? For what?
And they're
Hey, by the way, I'm going mango. I'm
God
going
bless
mango. Banana was banana. It was better than the apple.
you.
Now I'm going mango.
So they do these seminars with a group of kids, and the 5 or 6 players, and Shoresy basically tells them, just stick to hockey. People are in your ear trying to get you to do all this other stuff, and just be hockey players. Don't go. Is that pretty bad? It looks pretty bad. That was a face.
It's not good. Maybe cold.
And
maybe
you can sense from him, as he talks about from episode 1, it's not about loving to win. It's about hating to lose. And he wants to instill that in the kids. And
you know who's okay with losing?
Losers.
Right.
That's right. And you want to try to instill that and so much about kids sports is not about that. It's oddly enough. And that's a really interesting take on youth sports in general, and where Shoresy, the character, is going to go after this, an aging athlete, and where he's going to take his wealth of knowledge and his veteran presence. Where is he going to take it? Where is he going to set the tone next? And that's the big question, right?
By the way, speaking of just the sports angle, when he got that concussion, the second one, the way they filmed that was pretty spectacular. The way they did that,
yeah,
that was really, really well done. And I had posted, there's the, I mentioned it before, the Watch Facebook group, which is very, very active. So, I basically said, I'm late to the party, but damn, this show is so good.
You go ahead, finish up.
Well, and this woman posted saying that her kid was playing, I don't know if it was hockey or football. And that scene, she said she was just getting like PTSD from when her kid had a concussion and all the stuff that happened with that. It was like so really well done. And the kid wakes up like, did we win? Am I still at the place? Is the game over? The kid just totally blacked out. I had no idea what was going on.
That moment in a sitcom is amazing. It makes the show turn on a dime to something you never expected, and a really dark place, right? Because look, it's a comedy, and it's hockey, and bad things happen in hockey. People get hurt. People can get really hurt, and I think Fish has a scratch on his neck at some point, and it's from a skate blade, I think. Hockey is very dangerous. There's lots of people that get injured for life, and concussions are a very real thing. And the fact that they go to that place on this sitcom is pretty cool. That they can bring that to the screen, because it's a real part of hockey, and it's a real part, probably even more so, of an amateur league hockey, where there's somebody always who wants to play like it's the NHL, and they want to hit hard like they're playing in the NHL, and then someone's going to get hurt, and it happens. And watching the aftermath of Shoresy and how they deal with him and take him out on a stretcher, and him not knowing where he is, it's really real. And it felt really real. And you're right, it was filmed really realistically. And it's a little hard to watch it, right? And in some of the injuries that you hear, or some of the hits that we see, those two, the freezer guys, the Friesens, those hits and I know a lot of it's through sound, but those are guys taking real hits against the boards, taking the hits. They don't like, it doesn't tickle, it hurts. So a skate tap to or a stick tap to all these guys, these actors who are playing these roles, and taking real hits
Yep.
on the screen.
Well, a lot of them are real hockey players, though, right?
Yes, and that's what makes this real too. That's what makes this show
Yeah.
so good on the hockey sense. It's not actors who have maybe skated when they were a kid. These are ex-hockey players, hockey players who they're legit.
Well, and by the way, that's the thing I think that makes it hard for me to not that I'm going to really become. I don't think I got too much sports right now. I'm on overload, but with hockey, I think part of the problem too is like when they put it on TV, you got that high camera angle,
It's
and it just looks like it doesn't look like
it's
much.
hockey's always
The way they shot this,
you're right there. You're right on the ice.
yeah,
Yeah.
this you're level on the ice, and you see this happening. It's like when the All-Star game was on the other
Yeah.
night. I think it was the All-Star game. There was one particular shot, like behind the catcher, when I think maybe Otani or somebody, I don't forget who made contact. I don't know if it was Otani or Harper or whatever, but it was kind of neat to see it right there, like the bat making contact
I
with
think
the
that was
ball
a
and just the
probably a
sound.
catcher's cam or umpire cam, right? So that's right
Yeah,
there.
whatever that was. I understand why they probably can't do that all the time, but
Yeah.
that was just really cool because it really brought you into the action.
Hockey is a
It felt so much more real.
hockey's a niche sport in so many ways, and one of the reasons it's a niche sport, at least in America, is because it doesn't translate to television as well as other sports do, and it's hard. It's the fastest sport in the world, right? These guys are flying around. You've got this little black thing that you can hardly
Well, beyond car racing,
right.
behind motor
But
racing, right?
with
Yeah.
motor racing, you've got cameras everywhere. You got cameras on cars. You are right there on
Yes.
the road. Hockey's really hard. You got 12 guys on the ice, three goalies, and they're all except for the goalies. These guys are all going crazy fast. And then the line changes. Changing. There's no substitutions like in other sports where it's a timeout. You make a substitution. The substitutions are happening while the game's going on. Players are changing, numbers are changing. It's really difficult to watch on TV, and that's why it doesn't do well in like other sports. It does well, but not like other sports. It's a game that's meant to be watched live. It really is, and it makes more sense live. You can see the whole rink at one shot. You can't see that on TV. Rarely do they do those kinds of shots, and even then, it's so high up you can't see what's really going on at ice level.
Right.
So,
but that might change though. That might change because cameras have gotten smaller and
you're
better.
right. You're right, and
so you could place cameras anywhere.
And there's more drone stuff, and there's way that the sport can get better on TV, and it is getting better. It's not like it once was. Now it's much better, and 4K and higher definition viewing is helping the sport a lot too. And this show is really, like we talked about, the hockey scenes are really great hockey scenes because it puts you right there, like you said, on the ice, right there. You're looking right at the goalie. You're seeing everything. They really did a smart thing there. The goal scoring is ice level, looking at the goalie every time, and
right.
It's not from up high. It's done really well. I'm curious how many times they had to film some of those plays to get that shot, and it's done really well. As a hockey fan,
Well, you know what though,
it.
they've got folks that have been playing hockey. They had real hockey players on the
That's
ice,
it.
so maybe they got it right the first time. You know,
you're right. And and you've got the star was a hockey player. He knows the sport. Jared Kiso's an interesting guy. He doesn't do a lot of interviews. It's really tough to find conversations with him. I heard it.
And if you've only seen him in this show, when you hear him talk, it's like, what?
Right. There is a really good podcast that is a Letterkenny Shoresy podcast, and they actually got him on. And but it's a fan podcast, and he came on. He was on for 45 minutes. He was so good. He was great. He was really informative, really fun. He understands the love of the show because it's very, very cultish. He understands that, and he's very appreciative of it. And he does not put on airs at all. But you don't see a lot of them. You don't see the guy out and about on every talk show.
Well, here's the thing. Do you want him on the circuit, or do you want him making more shows?
I want him on making more shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
He's working. He's a hard-working guy.
He definitely feels like a guy who has more. He has more to him, and I think we're going to see more of him. And hopefully, this Crave contract that he signed, this development deal, is gonna. We'll see more of him in the future. He's really good.
He's the Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah. Hey, Jared, if you're watching out there, we would love to have you on. We would love to talk hockey, and we'd love to talk Shoresy and Letterkenny, and drink whiskey with you. In Letterkenny, speaking of spirits, there the beer that is used on that they use is called Puppers. It has a dog on the Puppers, and the whiskey that is drank, which you actually can buy, is called Gus and Bruno. And I don't know.
Gus and Bruno.
It's two dogs, I believe, on it. And I'm not sure who makes it for them. From some Canadian company, I'm guessing, Canadian whiskey. So they are smart to market that as well. But you can buy all kinds of gear from the Letterkenny store, and hats and all kinds of stuff with all the funny sayings and jerseys and from Shoresy. It's great. If you want to wear a Bulldogs jersey, you can get a Bulldogs jersey sweater.
By the way, Bruno in the Gus and Bruno looks sort of like the dog in the Shoresy on the Bulldog shirt.
You're right.
But it's not a Bulldog, is it?
I don't know what those two dogs are. One's a terrier, I think. One's a German Shepherd. I'm not sure what those guys are.
Who doesn't love a terrier?
That's right. Gus and Bruno, St. Patrick's Edition, $90.
By the way, I got worried for a second there.
What's that?
Well, I got worried because I just saw Gus and Bruno, and then they had $135. I'm like, oh, it's for 6 bottles.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
So it's 40%, whatever it is. Old style Canadian whiskey, Canadian.
Yeah, what is that?
What does that say? Old style Canadian whiskey, Canadian? Why does it say that on the label? That's funny. Means. I don't know.
Old style Canadian whiskey, Canadian.
I don't know. I don't know who makes it.
That's weird. The official rye whiskey of Letterkenny.
So it's rye. It's interesting. Wonder. Let's say probably can.
Well, a lot of Canadian whiskey's rye, right?
After a minute, who makes Gus?
Does it say
Gus and Bruno? Bruno?
Do you think it's the guy? What's the guy's name at
what?
The doctor in Ontario. The guy who works for
Livermore. Yeah, Don Livermore.
Yeah.
It could be,
which is a great name for a distiller, by the way.
It's true. Friend of Joanne's. It's a very good question. I don't know. I'm looking around here. I don't know who makes it. Is it K? Oh, wait, what's this? Hold on. We're looking here.
Gus and Bruno. Gus and Bruno. If the Gus and Bruno guys are watching, send us a bottle. We'll gladly review it.
40%.
Yeah. It'll ship. Anything?
Everything but who makes it.
Yeah. Anyway, let me just read a little bit here. Gus and Bruno was harvested through hours of chorin to make a valiant, vibrant, velvety finish. For no-necks, nut-tuggers, and ne'er-do-wells alike, this fine whiskey is sure to thrill, thump, and throttle thoroughly. It's a beauty.
It's a beauty. It's on the shelf in the bar on Letterkenny, and what you just read about choring, that's what Jared Kiso's character does. He chores on his farm. Lots of choring. And
nice.
Boy, it's funny. This website I'm looking at is called speakeasycompany.com has everything about this whiskey except who makes it.
Who makes it?
Yeah,
well,
it's probably private.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
They're
allowed to have their secrets.
Okay.
Well, we have gone on probably too long, although not long enough for ourselves.
No.
And another bad call like that, Shoresy, I'm firing a clapper at your head. I swear.
Clapper, not the clap.
No.
2 different things.
God.
2 different things.
You're applesauce, bud. Oh my gosh. You know what I also love?
Oh yeah,
Is I
go ahead.
love the go back and forth between Shoresy and Zig.
Oh my God, they're the best.
It is the best.
They are the best.
Oh my God,
They're the best.
It is.
I love when she gets a ticket, and he's like, "You got a ticket?"
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Don't you know what to do? Come on, you're a hot girl. She's like, "I'm a hot girl."
What a fucking idiot! How can you get a ticket? You're a hot girl. What did you say? You're a hot girl. You can't get a ticket.
It was great. You know, it was nice too. The seafood feast.
Oh, all the end. Yeah, it's great. Yes, spirit of camaraderie. Sitting around.
And by the way, the food looked delicious.
Yeah, it did look.
It looked delicious. I want to go to Prince Edward Island.
Oh my God. Oh my. I'm looking at a.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna call it a game here.
Yeah, let's leave some gas in the tank for season 4.
For season 4, and this has been fun. I'm glad we got to sit around and talk Shoresy and Letterkenny and Jared Kiso and the Bulldogs, because it's just a really great universe to play around in. What we watch when we drink. Episode 51 is in the books. We are 1-0 now. Our win streak is 1. Booze Dancing Entertainment Network.
What did we win?
We are. This has been live tonight, and this will be a podcast here in a week or two that you can download. Don't forget to send us your cards and letters. Don't forget to go to boozedancing.com and all of our social media outlets for reviews and interesting content regarding beer and whiskey and whatever. And if you have any suggestions, please send them in to us, and we'll be happy to watch what you want us to watch or drink what you want us to drink within reason.
By the way,
yeah,
this episode was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Yes.
Do we have an end credit game stick?
We don't. We should, but we really should.
We should have some game sticks for the end credits.
Fuck you, Shoresy.
For what? All right. On that note,
take us out of here.
I'm gonna roll it.
Take us out of here.
All right.
Zig, Mig, whatever your name is.
If you enjoy this show, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Audible, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can also find us on boozedancing.com. And if you have any questions, comments, show or drink suggestions, email us at boozedancing@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.